And welcome back to the Chicago Marketing Podcast, brought to you by Magnani Continuum Marketing. I'm your host, Michael Dennis, joined as always by the amazing Alayna Van Hall. How's it going, Alayna?
Amazing, Alayna.
You're double A nowadays. You're just the double A.
Well, with an intro like that, I'm doing awesome. Thank you.
Well, if you're awesome and amazing, then you're triple A now.
Do you see
how that works?
I do. But I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Doing really good. It's
Good.
hot in Chicago.
Yeah, it's like 95 degrees at the end of September. What's going on?
It's warmer now than it was in July.
It's crazy. Like all of August was kind of cold,
Mm-hmm.
and now it's 90 degrees.
Is this what they call an Indian summer?
or
where it's
global
warm
warming?
again?
I don't know.
You know, as someone who's made it through a couple of really rough Chicago winters, a little dusting of global warming sounds really nice right now.
See, I just like it to be. We won't get into that topic in too much detail, but I would prefer not.
Mm-hmm.
I'm cool with a little winter
Yeah.
if I can vacation somewhere warm.
Oh, yes, with caveats galore, then it's acceptable.
Yeah.
But
sure.
assuming that we can't all flee to the Tampa-Orlando area, I wouldn't mind if it's not minus 13.
That's fair.
But today's episode is going to be a little bit different. We're kind of breaking a little bit of news here, and I thought this would be an excellent topic for you and I to discuss. And we're going to be discussing a recent announcement that Apple just made. So they've announced the new iPhone. They've announced a whole bunch of new updates, and one of the big updates they've announced is a new change to the privacy protection on the mobile Safari.
Okay.
So as people are using more and more of their mobile devices, I know that when we look at our statistics for ourselves and our clients, that is how most people are accessing stuff nowadays. It is not on a desktop or an iPad. Most of it is right on their phone. So the fact that they're making a change to Safari makes it even more impactful because it affects such a large percentage of the web traffic nowadays.
Right.
So what they're really doing is they're making a change to the privacy protection that prevents ad networks from tracking your browser history through
Interesting.
cookies. So it
Very
effectively
interesting.
prevents third-party sources, which would be ad networks and marketers, from copying your browser history via cookies. And that's a big thing.
That's a big thing, especially for the digital advertising world. That was a space I worked in for a couple of years, working with large agencies on their programmatic solutions. And that is how marketers track who they're going after. And I think it's an interesting perspective because, from a marketer standpoint, it allows you to find people at relevant times, people that are interested in your product because they maybe visited a page before, or that they fit the psychographic of the people that typically purchase your product. And so it allows you to target them and retarget them and continue to reach out to them because on average it takes 7 to 10 touch points for somebody to actually convert. So it's gonna throw an interesting wrench in digital advertising's approach to reaching people.
Yes, absolutely. And the advertising world is reeling a little bit from it. The four of the major advertising associations in America got together for a joint press release, and almost in a way to I've never seen advertisers condemn something before or come out against it, but the American Advertising Federation, the Association of National Advertisers, the Interactive Advertising Bureau, and the Network Advertising Alliance, they all came together to kind of really call this out, claiming that what the tracking that they're doing now is actually very benign, but this change will be it will really change a lot of things, make the web much more difficult to monetize. And I think really what this is coming down to is a privacy conversation to where advertisers like ourselves, this is something that's important. This is something that this change will change how the web is monetized, just like they stated. But Apple's position is that in the wrong hands, this information can become dangerous. Nefarious individuals can get their hands on that. And that also, does it violate some sort of user agreement by tracking people? But it's not like have you ever gotten a user agreement going to a website?
I have gotten hey, this is you're being cookied by coming to this site. Please accept. I've gotten that on a few sites, but do I read it? No,
and it's not. It's definitely not something that you see frequently.
Right.
I can't honestly tell you. the last time I came across that.
Mm-hmm.
So really what we're seeing is, a change in the marketplace that could really have resounding effects. I'm kind of in the middle on this personally.
Yeah.
I really understand trying to maintain people's privacy, especially if we are not being given a heads up on how much of our activity is being tracked or how much of our personal information is being tracked.
Mm-hmm.
But I also understand that, as a marketer, it's kind of the cost of business of the website, of the web. And to, if you're going to continue to have websites with free content, whether it's a newspaper or it's YouTube, well, maybe YouTube's not a good example, but like the Ringer or
Any publisher.
yeah, and any publisher,
Yeah.
you're going to need advertisers to help fill this out and to keep these, to keep employees on board and to keep this train moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we do that if we're no longer able to accurately target or advertise or be that?
Well, now you look at, so cookies really came into play with the internet, but then like real-time bidding and the exchanges of the digital ad world, I know that was it hit the top in like 2010, right? And since then, a ton of other targeting methods have come into play, but the foundation of digital advertising is cookies. That's how
Really is.
that's how these companies were founded and how they continue to grow and optimize. And granted, they're adding on different data layers. And I agree, publishers, they're continually getting squeezed out of the marketplace. Before, you used to have to pay for your newspaper subscription. You used to have to pay for all of these things, and now it's free on the internet. So how do these people make money? And it is through advertising, and that's why publishers are having all of these monetary issues now, and this throws another wrench into things. But I also see the point of privacy, because your cell phone isn't just like your TV. You do everything on your iPhone.
It's your TV, it's your phone,
it's your bank,
yes.
It's your camera, it's your way to communicate with everybody. And by being in that sphere, you almost know the person better than they know themselves. So it's an interesting conversation. And I think
able to track not only behaviors online, but personal behaviors, what you're listening to at certain times of the day,
where you're going.
Exactly,
they know down
to
a few feet of where you are at all times.
Yes.
And for me, I'm more of a private person, and I like the privacy piece of it.
Yes, you were off of Facebook for like 18 months, correct?
I know. When I know, I don't miss it. That's the funny part. But then you, as a marketer, when I put my marketer hat on and not just my consumer, frame of mind, my thinking of marketing is how to not sell somebody something, but how to be relevant and add value to somebody's life that they might want to actually purchase something.
Exactly. That's kind of what I keep coming back to also, is for me as a creative person and a content creator, like I hear this news and I know it affects us, but my first thought is to go back to, well, this doesn't change what I was going to make. I'm still trying to create something that's unique, that's powerful, that has a message that this target audience is going to connect with. The difference now is the delivery of this creation is now going to be different.
Well, and I think too, the industry is pretty quick at evolving. You look at ad tech and how many people are new in this space, and the announcement, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you're still able to, third-party cookies are still allowed for 1 day, and then after 30 days it's completely cleared. So what's going to have to happen is the technology is going to have to catch up and be as efficient within 1 day as it had been in 30, 60, 90 days. And so that's where I candidly would like to know more about the rationale of why Apple did this. I know it's privacy reasons, but Apple's known for being able to look beyond the horizon and see things that we're not quite able to see, and maybe there's something deeper there.
What do they have coming? Like what? Not just what do they see on the horizon, but what are they developing, or what are they trying to control or manipulate? What is that ultimate end game there? Because if I'm a little hesitant to believe that it's all about privacy and that it's all about the user experience. So
Well, and I think we can go into a whole new podcast around this. But Apple has, like, you talk about privacy, and historically that was really a lot of government entities really regulated that, but now the behemoths of the world, the Googles, the Facebooks, the Apples, they're really responsible, and that's where I am appreciative that they're taking a stance. I don't know.
Yes.
It's so interesting because in prepping for this episode, Michael asked me to pick a stance. Like, am I for it? Am I against it?
And no. I didn't say pick a stance. I said have a take.
Have a take. Okay. Tomato. Because I feel like
I didn't say a hot take. You didn't need to come in here spitting hot fire.
I think it's good in that it's going to push marketers and ad tech to further evolve. I know, in the last 7 years, we've developed new ways of targeting customers. It's based off of their geography. It's based off of, connecting cross-device, and it's about understanding, all that personal identifiable information. So, like, connecting with your Facebook and all of those other things that are unique to you. So I think it'll just have to evolve. I don't know what the stipulations are around that from Apple, but I do appreciate as a consumer that Apple's watching up.
Agreed. And to get back to your point a few moments ago, and we'll close with this, it's so different now. And the biggest players and the biggest influencers in our lives are Apple, it's Google, it's Amazon. And I think this is a big development that could affect all of those.
And I wonder if everybody else will jump on board. Like when it comes to other operating systems, what will they be doing, and like other browsers, and what does that look like?
Absolutely, and that's something that we should definitely keep an eye on moving forward, and we'll definitely keep all of you up to date and informed as we get new information. So we will have a link to this story and a couple other takeaways in the About section for this episode if you want to check those out. So for Alayna Van Hall, I'm Michael Dennis and the Chicago Marketing Podcast. This episode and every episode is brought to you by Magnani Continuum Marketing. Head to magnani.com. That's MAGNANI.com for all your digital marketing needs in Chicago and around the country. So for Alayna Van Hall, I'm Michael Dennis. Thank you all so much and have a great day.